What is going on, you guys? My name is Rage and we are back today with a quick event overview video for you all. And in regards to the upcoming Scourge event, unlocking Morgan Le Fay, we finally got some more details in terms of the overall event now that it's in game for us to preview. But as well as you guys, some tips, tricks, just managing your overall account, resource management. It's really important now because especially in this game, in the last 3 to 4 months that have been amassed this year, there's been fundamentally a lot of changes that's happened. And we haven't seen the amount of development. It's very exciting to be in this game, but it's also important to really pace yourself and understand at the end of the day what your priorities are in regards to navigating these waters. So that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and review the Pestilence event here. As you can see, hitting events, we do actually get a chance to preview it now. Time recording, you can see starting in 2 days, 3 hours. So a couple things. We can hit the preview here. That actually gives you a showcase of the leaderboards, how it's going to be built, as well as the milestones corresponding to really how you're going to build this up over time. And you can see how the shards are going to be unlocked from Morgan Le Fay. If you go through and actually unlock all the milestones, you're actually going to be able to get her at 3 yellow. And as well, ranking up here in the leaderboards, you can see here that we can amass quite a bit depending on where you rank. So I mean, obviously this is going to be for really the top 1 to 500 to best players. You can see they can unlock quite a few shards here, especially in that top ranking, as well as the red stars, the most prominent being the 5 red, being the top 50 players in the game. That said, you guys, that gives us really the breakdown of the milestones here. If you hit the eye on the top right, it actually does walk you through here as well the rules of the Scourge event. As you can see, this is the first of the legendary horsemen joining the void here, and you can see we're going to be overcoming these so-called Scourge events, where essentially they're going to add status effects that make our battles more difficult. And the thing is with more Scourges added, that's going to increase our points earned, but as well, it's going to make it more difficult in terms of characters that we can utilize, but as well as the status effects that's going to be impacting us. So overall, as you can see, that combination is going to be really pushing us to score as high as possible, but keep in mind there's actually not going to be any healing for this event. So I mean, you got to be very careful in how you select these characters, making sure that there's right synergies. And keep in mind as well, there are select nodes for the Scourge event that specifically requires the Web Warriors and or the Dark Hunters. So keep that in mind. If you have one of them built up, I think I only have the Web Warriors right now, so that's really gonna be my focus, and hopefully they can get me through it. But they're gonna be nodes, very similar to kind of the Dark Dimension setup here. Obviously, it'll be based on their event running, but again, there's not gonna be any healing, so that's gonna be the one thing that's kind of notable and different from previous events. By completing all the missions, as you can see here, we're going to be awarded that expected run score here. But you can also reset partially through, and choosing the reset, perhaps maybe changing up your roster and completely rebooting it, you're going to be able to still get points amassed. So keep that in mind. And then lastly, you really want to just aim for as high as possible, and that's going to ultimately determine your ranking and your scoring, ultimately translating into shards and ideally the leaderboards, which will then translate to the rewards overall based on that percentage I showed you earlier. So that in essence is the Pestilence event, you guys, for Morgan Le Fay, the first legendary horseman that's coming and really completing the Darkhold team that's looking like it's going to be the meta here, right? So food for thought, you guys. Just keep in mind as well, this is going to be one of the busiest years we've seen in Marvel Strike Force. This is the first legendary horseman that's coming, but it's already been confirmed that there's going to really good chance that the majority or all of the legendary horsemen are in fact coming to the game. So what does that mean? Well, Morgan Le Fay is really the first, the tip of the iceberg here, right? There's 3 more coming after her. So I just wanted to preach caution here, you guys. We really want to be smart with our resources in the game right now, just because we can choose to dump all our resources into this team, which is good for the arena meta. But keep in mind, for those of you who may or may not know, it has been confirmed already that respectively each of these legendary horsemen and their teams, they're gonna have a different focus in the game. So it's already been kind of revealed through their kit and the roster buildup. But with the legendary horsemen for Morgan Le Fay as well as the Darkhold team, they're gonna be focused in the arena meta. So that's really where players are gonna likely amass them, just to try to build up these rewards, getting as much power cores as much as possible. that leaves us now with the other 3 legendary horsemen. Not confirmed yet, but they may be bringing out aspects in other game modes, right? So in this case, they, for instance, they might specialize in actually pushing through raids. They might specialize in going through Dark Dimension. They might specialize in being a war specialist team. So that's why we do need to be considerate about the teams that are coming about here, and with our limited resources. It's going to be a time crunch, but as well as a resource management at this point. And that's why I'm amassing gold. That's why I'm saving orbs as much as possible as well, because at the end of the day, we don't need to invest in every character that comes out. Really focus in and ask yourself, what game mode matters to you the most, because that's what's going to matter at the end of the day. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Darkhold team with Morgan Le Fay. It can be the next team afterwards. Now, where they get you, obviously, at the end of the day, is that the combination of these 4 legendary horsemen are going to ultimately unlock Apocalypse and being the likely legendary that comes after, right? So that is the caveat, however, but keep in mind, at the end of the day, you guys, all these characters are going to be rerun. The events will reoccur again. So, I mean, just because you miss it once doesn't necessarily mean it's said and done and it's over. It's going to take a little bit more time because these events are very limited, but at the end of the day, we do want to manage what we can control, and that's the events that come about and what our game priorities is, and a little bit of food for thought as well, right? Keep in mind, they've been recurring these Avenger Towers for really good resources as we're pushing through it, but with these new Avenger Towers and different game modes coming, we're always going to need to continually invest in characters. So, really just take the time to analyze your roster and assess, at the end of the day, which characters are going to matter to you. Maybe you don't play war as much. I personally don't. So I've taken a back step on the Dark Hunters team just because I'm not too heavily involved in them. We do quite fine even without my heavy reliance in war. I'm mainly more of a raid specialist with the teams. Our alliance has, unlocked 2.300% completion. So now we're just, really cruising through the 60% per day now. But that's what I mean, right? You really focus in on teams that add value to your roster and your gameplay, because that's what's going to ultimately matter. For the time being, some tips and tricks as well. If you guys have any of these orbs, I would recommend saving them. We know these red ones, especially with the rest of our orbs, we're going to need a lot of them just to be able to amass for the characters that are going to be brought about. So, make sure you're budgeting smartly, aiming for those red star targets, but as well as saving some for the future, because this is definitely something that's going to be recurring. With every legendary horseman coming, there's likely going to be a full team that's needed to actually unlock them, right? So that's potentially 3 or 4 characters that are going to be added in each patch. We got premium orbs here as well, as you can see, Castro and Deathpool being 2 of the most powerful characters in the game, but honestly speaking, they're likely going to refresh in the future. So if you don't need to blow it on the premium orbs right now, it's a good time to save it. Another obvious one is actually the Milestone 2 orbs. This has already been reworked, but a lot of folks likely already have Emma Frost and Symbiote Spider-Man at very high yellow ranking. So I mean, at the end of the day, this is a good one to save just because it gives you a wide opening of different characters. But as well, once they actually change this to, say for instance, Cersei of the Eternals team, she's going to be a really good character to get through this orb, right? So this is likely going to get refreshed in the future as well. So we just need to be smart about that. And again, you guys, keep in mind, each of the legendary horsemen and the team is going to represent a different game mode that we want to specialize in. So again, you don't necessarily need to invest in Morgan Le Fay and the Darkhold team right now, but if there's a specific game mode such as raids or war that you're particularly interested in, this is a good chance to take our time and play the game the way we want to, right? At the end of the day, don't feel that pressure, because we always want to have fun at the end of the day and make the most of what we got. So hope this video is able to help you guys kind of navigate the waters a bit, especially with this upcoming event in a couple days here. Thank you as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one.